this coalescence of all of these major global catastrophes at the same time. Because the cabal of darkness is orchestrating it, but they are able to orchestrate it with such effect, considering how small they are in number, because they have harnessed the Hi, I'm Muzz iEvolv. Thank you for being here again this week to watch another channeling. So many options on YouTube, yet here you are, so thank you very much for that. The 3 awakenings that save humanity. If you haven't read this book yet, then it's time that you do. It's available in the paperback, audio, and ebook, and the link for that is below this video. Please like, subscribe, share, comment on this video now, because it's so important for me to be showing up here week after week doing these for free. If you'd like a private channeling, then that's something which is possible. You can start an inquiry, just a conversation to see if it's something that you want to do by clicking the link below, filling out a very short form, and then that will start a conversation. If you'd like to support me or donate to me in some way, then I have created a membership site where you get access to the transcripts, the audios and the videos of every channeling I've done in the past and every channeling that I'm going to do in the future. And the most expensive of the 3 levels that are available is still less than 2 quarters per day. I just want to mention that the channeling course, which I spoke about like some time ago, I did actually finish it last year. I had a couple of test students go through it and they were able to identify a couple of things which they thought I should add. I have added those now, so just be aware that's coming down the pipeline, and I will give you more information as we get closer. And on to today's topic. Why is the darkness afraid of your hope? Greetings and thank you for the question. Why is the darkness afraid of your hope? Before we continue on, we want to make it clear that the darkness is actually afraid of your hope, because your hope contains within it a power which is very threatening to the darkness. And this is why the darkness does, at every turn, attempt to extinguish your hope and the hope of all of those around you, to have the accumulative impact of extinguishing hope for all of humanity which exists without their bubble of elitism. We have decided to speak on this today because the time is now approaching where hope is becoming much more available, and therefore it now wields a potency which it has not in the past. Because of this very apparent juxtaposition between the darkness and the light, any way which the light can now embody an attribute of the human way, then this is yet another tool in the armory of humanity against the darkness, as the darkness begins to come up against a repulsion, or rather against a combatant, or against a adversary which is more than worthy of its battle. In fact, is now beginning to loom over the darkness in a way that the darkness has not experienced for a very long time. It has become very accustomed to being the dominant force, to being the biggest fish in the pond, to being the biggest bully in the schoolyard. But something is changing. Humanity is hitting a growth spurt, and now the bully is watching as its long-time victim is beginning to grow in stature and awareness and capacity to a point where it is now on the verge of surpassing the darkness. And in some ways it already has. But what the darkness continues to have up its sleeve is that the light is not yet aware of how powerful it is. And when we speak of the light in this way, really we are speaking about you, the humanity being, this single being that all of you individually form together, the unity of your species. You are, as a single being, much more powerful than the darkness. And it is not something which is now latent as a potential, but you quite literally, at this very moment, are much more powerful than the darkness. And the only thing which remains to be absent is your awareness that this is so. Let us begin in this way. Your reality is very strategically and deliberately expunged of hope. You are made to feel a sense of dread, a sense of despair, a sense of despondency about your life as it currently is, and in particular about your future. Because when all of you think in this particular way, then you are all manifesting a particular quality of future experiences. And these future experiences, when they are of this tonality, are actually within the visionscape of the cabal of darkness, the unified malevolence, this small group of elites, the oligarchy, which are steering the entire civilization of your planet in a particular direction, which will position them as the ultimate rulers, gods, demigods of the human experience into perpetuity, sitting atop the throne of darkness in a position of such comprehensive power that they can never be removed. And once they are in this position, and then they are ruling in a state of absolute totalitarian dominion and domination, then, as you can imagine, the experience for the average human being will be one of slavery, will be one of suffering and misery, will be one of destitution and impoverishment. Because those that sit atop the throne of darkness will extract every single ounce of abundance, of wealth, of resource that they can, such that they reach a level of accumulation of all of that that they desire in the 3D, which is maximized. And so those that are outside of this bubble of elitism, which are permitted to continue living because their existence serves the elite in some way, will be at a level of subsistence, which is the bare minimum which can be maintaining of this dynamic, this relationship, this feudal dynamic between the elite and the mass of peasants, of serfs that exist outside of that elite bubble of privilege. From that description, you can see that is a very miserable existence for those who are at the regular level of humanity. It will be ghastly. It will be horrible. It would be something that you would never hope for. It is, in fact, the opposite of what you would hope. It is the outcome, the life that you would dread the most. When you all hold this sensation that there is a future heading in your direction, charging towards you, which is of this flavor, which is destitute, which is horrible, ghastly, unbearable, then this vision which you hold as an individual is contributing in a manifesting sense to what shall actually come to pass. And when all of you on a global wide basis are thinking in this way, then collectively you are manifesting a future dystopia which would be absolutely the worst thing that you could ever hope to manifest. This has been deliberately designed. It is not an organic result of your existence that you are having these visions of a dystopian future, and that those around you are also having this same sense of dystopian future on the horizon. It has been inculcated into your mind through all of the cultural pillars, through news media, entertainment media, social media, advertising, education system, government, judiciary, and the industries of war, energy, food, medicine, and so on. These have all been utilized as tools to inculcate you into a belief that your future is going to be an inescapable post-apocalyptic dystopia for you, but most certainly for your descendants, for your children, for your grandchildren, and so on into the future. Ask yourself, how many times have you seen entertainment media set in the future that was dystopian, that was grimy and dark and violent and completely void of morality, very rampant with brutality and violence, and so on? Virtually every futuristic movie that you can conceive of in your memory is of this tonality. This is not an accident. It is very deliberate. And then, on the contrary, ask yourself, how many times have you seen a movie which is set in the future, and the future which is depicted is one of great love and abundance and blessing for all those that are part of the humanity being, where things are better than they are now? How many times have you seen that scenario play out in entertainment media? It is very few. And when you compare the dystopian vision with this utopian vision, the proportionality is so profound that one begins to ask, is this natural? Is it just a consequence of humanity's desire to be creative that 99.99999% of all predictions of the future, which are allowed to be displayed on your TV screens, in your movie theaters, and so on, are depicting a hideous dystopian future? Following the laws of probability, do you think that would be the proportionality? It seems very unlikely that it would be so if it was just an organic process of creators, those that have the desire to produce entertainment media, seem to overwhelmingly choose this particular theme. It is not natural. It is deliberate. It is the engineering of your culture, the engineering of your society, and more importantly, the engineering of your future. So, this all together, when we consider all of these different cultural pillars, they're all giving this very similar thematic tonality about the future. It is the harnessing, the yoking of the collective, creative manifestation capacity of humanity. All of you, as the single being, is harnessed as a beast of burden, such that all of you do the heavy lifting of the manifestation of the future vision of the cabal of darkness. They are very small in number, and they understand that their capacity to collectively manifest the future they desire is very tiny, infinitesimal, in comparison to the potential manifesting power of the rest of humanity who are outside of their bubble of elitism. And so if they wish to bring about their dystopian future, then it is very strategic and brilliant to harness the collective manifesting capacity of this bulk of humanity which they intend to enslave. So, the humanity being, while it is still in this state of slumber, of not yet fully awakening, particularly reality awakening, is the buffalo, the donkey, the pack mule, for the manifestation of the cabal of darkness. And you can see, as you look about the Earth human experience, that this is a very effective technique, because your planetary society continues to march towards dystopia. There is this recent event of the illness which consumed the mindset of your planet. And now there is the consequence of the medicine that was used to heal or help or fix all of the people of your planet. And now there is this war that has been continuing in Europe, and it is growing in the number of participants, and it is becoming more threatening in the vocalization, the rhetoric of the escalations. Also, there is the impending food shortages, the financial crisis, which is now beginning to crest the horizon, and on and on and on. So, this is being accomplished, this coalescence of all of these major global catastrophes at the same time, because the cabal of darkness is orchestrating it, but they are able to orchestrate it with such effect, considering how small they are in number, because they have harnessed the collective manifesting capacity of the humanity being, of you and all of those around you. So, when you become aware of this, then you can make the decision to opt out of this service that you are being duped into giving the cabal of darkness. To, instead of entertaining ideas which are a dystopian vision of the future, instead decide to be hopeful about the future. Be hopeful about what your life is going to be going forward. Be hopeful about what the lives of those that are important to you are going to be like going forward. Be hopeful about your community. Be hopeful about your nation. Be hopeful about your entire planet. Be hopeful about the rising of the light. And in this way, when you have hope, this hope must be associated with a vision. And we don't say it this way to mean that you must, if you're going to have hope, then you must form the vision. But we are saying that they coexist. When there is hope, then there is a positive vision. They are the same phenomenon. So, when you begin to have hope, and those around you begin to have hope, then there is a shift in your aura. And the darkness in your aura is transmuted or is shed, and then your aura takes on a much more divine glow. It is a glow which is much more white in its description, when using the visual frequency range of light. So, you begin to now have a white quality to your aura, and your hopefulness has an effect on those around you. They also begin to resonate with a sense of hope, because hope is a quality of the light, and you are a being of the light. Your constituency, your true essence is the light and nothing but the light, because you are an individuation of your Creator. And in the lexicon of human emotion, your Creator is love and all of the derivatives of love, all of the artifacts of love, and hope is one of those. From the perspective of manifestation, hope is the entry point into manifesting with a focus, a constituency of the light. And hope is what precedes belief. So when you believe in something that is yet to come to pass, yet you believe in it with absolute certainty, then this is the most powerful position from which you manifest your reality. In fact, it is the only place from which you manifest your reality. Your reality is manifest from your belief. However, sometimes we believe in things which do not serve us. And this is something which can be changed, something which can be healed when you begin to have hope. Because when you begin to have hope, this slowly seeps into this belief system you have, which is manifesting your reality. And when you begin to be hopeful, more and more and more and more, and the hope grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, and eventually this hope will be more accurately described as a belief. You don't just hope it's going to happen, you now are beginning to believe it is actually going to happen. It is going to happen. I really, truly believe it. And this is when you become very potent in your manifestation of future experiences which are going to be what you desire, which are going to be in service to the light within, in service to the light within all of those that make up this group being which you are an individuation of. Yes, the humanity being, but also the earth being, the solar system being, the galaxy being, and of course, the ultimate group being the one. You are an individuation of all of those beings at the same time. We have also taken a page from the book of tactics of the Cabal of Darkness. And we always like to include in our channeling sessions, usually in the last segment, a sense of hope about the future, which is possible and, from our perspective, a certainty for humanity, because we are inculcating you into the belief that the future of humanity is golden, and that the future for you is also available to you as a choice to be one of these individual humans which forms the humanity being in the fourth density state, living in the golden age. We are instilling you with the hope which is available to you. Yet it can be something which you can do for yourself as a service, just as we do it for you. So rather than being reliant on those external to you to be the source of your hope, you can be the source of your own hope and begin to hold in your mind's eye, in the junction point between the physical and your infinite non-physical, a vision of a future which is shining so brightly with the truth, with the light, with love, with joy, happiness, bliss, that it is something which invigorates you to live in a very particular way. And that very particular way is aligned with the light. To being so faithful to the light that you actually live every moment of your life. You are so intense in your belief that the future for you, the individual, and for your species is so bright that you live your life now as if that future is a certainty. And in living this way, resonating this way, exuding an energetic quality, your own unique energetic signature, which has this very strong imbued quality, then those around you will begin to resonate in a very similar way. Because as we have explained many times in the past, this is an inherent aspect of your beingness, just as it is an inherent aspect of the beingness of all those that make up the individuations of the humanity being. Because it is an artifact, it is a manifestation of the light, and this is your true essence, as it is all of you that make up the humanity being. And so they very naturally, all those around you, will begin to resonate in a very similar way. And they also will begin to feel with the quality of hope. Hopeful that the future isn't going to be dystopian, but instead is going to be utopian, is going to be something which is unprecedented in the human experience. It is going to be so loving, so beautiful, so abundant, so kind, so caring, so empathic, so understanding, and on and on and on. All of these qualities, these abstractions of the love and light of your Creator. Then, as a collective, you begin to manifest something which is very different to the dystopian vision which you have been inculcated to believe by the cabal of darkness and all of the instruments and pillars of control and influence over the hearts and minds of each of you individually. And this vision of the future, which is shining so brightly that it is the light and nothing but the light, it is love and nothing but love, and all of the qualities and abstractions of that, then there is no room for the darkness. There is no place for the darkness. There is no need for the darkness. Because once humanity has reached that point, the service which darkness offers has been fulfilled and is now a redundancy that is no longer needed to point humanity towards the light. And this is the end of darkness. It is the end of darkness reign on your planet. It is the disintegration of the cabal of darkness. The unified malevolence will be rendered impotent, will be neutered, will become crud on the shoe of humanity as humanity steps up to the next energetic paradigm. And you can see that this is very terrifying to the cabal of darkness. Because in that hopeful vision of the future, when all of you share it together, you very potently and effectively and powerfully manifest this future to come to be. And it is already beginning to take shape, even though still, in a sense of proportionality, very few of you are reaching this point of wakefulness. And yet, even so, your numbers still are very small in comparison to what it will be. Your power, when you flex, is intimidating to the extreme to the cabal of darkness. So much so that they are reaching levels of panic, of mania, about completing their objectives while there is still time, before they are squashed like a bug. Because they are aware that that is a relevant metaphor. It quite accurately depicts the relationship between the cabal of darkness and the unified light, the unified benevolence of the humanity being that looms so grand, so gigantic, so powerful that comparatively the cabal of darkness will be little more than an annoyance that can be flicked away. Let us finish in this way. Going forward, start entertaining visions, ideas, senses of the future which are hopeful, which depict a globe which is ruled and shared not by a unified malevolence, but instead by a unified benevolence, by an awakened species which is unified in its love, in its light, in its wakefulness, and in its ascension, such that the darkness has been removed, because the very valuable service it has provided to humanity to provide the comparative state, the darkness which has made the light so much more visible, this essential differentiation which must be present for you to have an experience of the light. Because if you were born into the light and all around you at all times throughout your entire existence there was nothing but the light, then you would not have an experiential appreciation of what the light is. And this is the very important service that the darkness has played in the earth human experience. Because what is playing out here is very unique in the entire cosmos. Because your species has been birthed into creation in a state of spiritual dichotomy, not realizing that it is the light and nothing but the light, which is the default way in which all other sentient species are birthed into creation, already fully aware that they are connected to the One, that they are the light and nothing but the light, and that they're all connected to each other to form a unified spatial being, which in your case is the humanity being. But humanity, all of those that have been chosen to be born into the earth human experience, have done so to take on this very new way of being, which has only occurred in the solar system being of your experience. And your planet is the third iteration of this experiment. The darkness has been essential. The darkness has been a blessing to humanity. And ultimately, all of it, all of those that comprise the cabal of darkness, all of you that comprise the cabal of benevolence, as it shall come to be, are individuations of your Creator. It is just the one being individuating itself through this illusory context so that it can play with the illusion to have a comprehensive and complete experiential understanding of itself. This is what it's all about. So, even these individuations of the humanity being which choose the darkness, they themselves, at their essence, are the light and nothing but the light. They are individuations of your Creator, just as you are. And they have chosen to play that role such that they can deliver this service. So prior to their incarnation as these grotesque and evil beings, as you know them now, they made the choice, while they were still in the afterlife, to be incarnated into a physical experience that was going to be aligned with the darkness, such that they could continue this service of the darkness, such that you were pushed into the light and you could have your awakening and have your ascension and be part of the humanity which makes it into the fourth density state to begin the golden age, the next human paradigm. And they are aware that when they choose to play this dark role, they are very unlikely to be included in this ascension event. Yet they do it nonetheless because of their love for humanity, for the Creator, for you, the individual. So, when you become aware of this inevitability, that humanity is heading into the light, and that those that are the grotesque faces and names of the cabal of darkness, prior to their incarnation, chose that role because of their love for you, then it becomes much easier to be hopeful about the future, to understand it is all the machinations, it is all the theatre of the illusion, such that the one can make the ultimate realization of itself, to know itself to completion experientially. And it is the love and the light. This is what it is. And so this process of realizing what it is, this process of understanding itself experientially, means that you, the individual, will experience more love, will experience more light, until eventually, at the end of all of your incarnations across the full scope of time, you will have arrived at the place where you have the absolute and total realization that you are the love and light of the One. And then the purpose for which you were created will have been fulfilled. And the illusion that you are something separate from the One will no longer serve a purpose, and you will coalesce back into that identity. And you literally will be, in that moment, 100% love and light, and nothing else. This is where you are heading. And this is a place where hope resides. This is a place that glows with a brilliance of love and all of the derivatives and abstractions of love. There are many more steps ahead of you before you reach this ultimate destination. But each one is more resonant with love than you find yourself now. Each one is more potently radiant of the light than where you find yourself now. So you are emerging from the darkness into the light. This is the direction, this is the path that you inevitably follow. So, there is nothing but hope for the future when you perceive it with this clarity. And therefore, be hopeful now. Be hopeful tomorrow. Be hopeful the next day. When you speak with those around you, speak in terms of hopefulness. Speak in terms of an impending future, which is imbued with all that you desire when your desire is of the tonality of the light. And through this simple act, your impact on those around you will harness this powerful collective manifesting capacity of the humanity being for the service of love and light. And the future, which will eventually be yours, will be a manifestation of the love and light, which you hopefully, through your focus, manifest in every moment. Thank you, and we love you.